what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 2 piles of 3. One will be our bottom part of the star, and my second pile of 3 will be my top part of the star. This way, I can keep track of which way I want to iron them so that we have a nice interlocking seam when we get ready to put these together in final construction. So my bottom pieces, I'm going to iron my seam towards the pebble, and I'm going to do the same thing on the top just so you can see that they're going to be going opposite directions. So let's just get to work there. We'll start by setting each seam, opening and pressing that towards our pebble. Bringing in the next one. Set your seam, iron towards the pebble. We're going to put these together now. So let's line them back up. There's my bottom 3 pieces. Here are my top 3 pieces. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn them right sides together. And we're going to make sure that we have a nice interlocking seam there for our 1/4 inch seam. The other thing that we want to do is keep an eye on these outer points of our star to again make sure that we end up with them lining up so that we end up with a really nice intersection when we open the star up. So we'll have 3 places to keep an eye on. This is going to be our first one here with the seam allowance. Then we have our interlocking seam that we've just pressed, followed by our outer star point that we want to make sure lines up. We're ready now to take these to our machine and put these 3 together. We're ready to power through these. I'm going to pin this one just because the block is fighting me a little bit, which sometimes they do. So I'm just going to bring in a few pins just to make sure that everything stays lined up together. We're going to trim those apart, move any pins that I just ran over. We're ready to take them and press. But that is our finished block. Pretty cool. We are ready to put it all together now. I just want to walk you through a couple of decisions that we've made, and I'll bring back out the one that I threw together initially just because we wanted to see what this would look like. And I'll tell you the one problem that I had with this so that you'll understand what we're going to do differently on this one. If you look at these points, putting 2 blocks right next to each other, you end up sewing through 6 layers of fabric. I don't know how your machine does, but mine was going like this, all the way through each of those corner points. And I am not really looking forward to quilting on that for fear that I'm going to break a few needles. What we're going to do differently with the one that we've been constructing together is we are going to add a 1-inch finished sashing between each one of these blocks so that our machines like us at the end of the project. And so that we can quilt it without having to worry about our needles quite so much. So you can see, let me get rid of this and you'll be able to see what this is going to look like. We love this orange fabric, and in a small 1-inch finished strip in between. We really feel like it's going to pull this all together and really give it that pop or the wow factor that we're looking for. We're going to go ahead and cut a few sashing strips to border our blocks. Make sure that I'm square on this edge. Okay. So let's close our clamp bar so our fabric doesn't slip. Add our cutting guide. We're going to true up the fabric. Right, we'll remove that little piece that we've just gotten rid of. Now we're going to add our speed gauge. For a 1-inch finish sashing, we're going to set our speed gauge at 1.5 inches. And what we are going to need to cut for this size table runner are 2 strips at the 1.5-inch setting. Here's our first. And there's our second. Okay. So here you can see the finished product. You can see the sashing strips in between with the border and how all of it just comes together into a really fun, vibrant, and a little bit different star pattern. So I hope you can take this idea and run with it.